Hello again, fight fans. I am Jason Burgos from MixedMartialArts.com, and I have the pleasure of being joined by one of the faces of one championship. He's a former two-division champion and a legit sports icon in his native Myanmar. He returns to action on July 30th at One Championship Battleground to face Leandro this is a tough one. How do you say his last name, Ang? This is a tough one. Is it?
It's a hiatus.
There you go. And that man I speak of is the Burmese Python himself and the one and only Aung La Nsang, Mr. Python, sir. Thank you so much for the time today.
And I'm happy to be talking to you, Jason.
It's always a pleasure. Now, I have a whole bunch of things to ask you about. So first, I wanted to talk to you about everything going on back home. And for the people not familiar with the situation out there, there's a military coup going on in Myanmar, a junta. Now, that is not hyperbole. You are pretty much a sports icon there. Really big deal. So what do you say, it has a major effect in Myanmar when you say something publicly, especially. But when everything first started to happen, and we spoke about this, privately, you had some hesitations about going public because of the status you have at home. Talk to me about why there was that hesitation, why there was a fear to be heard and say something publicly about everything that was going on.
Well, the hesitation comes from the fact that we don't really know what's going on. And I don't like to jump into conclusion, but the reality is that there was a coup in February. The party that won the election, got pretty much arrested, and the military, the military junta came into power. Yeah. It's been crazy. It hasn't gotten better. Any opposing party member or any opposing people are locked away, and it's a sad story. It's a sad time for Myanmar. Well, I lived in Myanmar till 2003, and during that time, there was no democracy. It was, but a lot of the younger generation forget that. When 2015 comes, they had democracy, NLD wins, and this year there's a new election, NLD wins again, but the military coup happened, and the general who was supposed to retire this year says, no, I'm not retiring. I'm going to take over. So it's been sad, and it hasn't gotten better, and to make matters worse, the COVID, the Delta variant.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Myanmar pretty hard, and they don't have the infrastructure to take care of the citizens. It's kind of sad.
And I'm glad you brought up that you grew up in a time when there wasn't democracy, because I remember when the story came out and learning more about Myanmar, how just democracy was a recent thing and how there was a military control for a long time. Because people here in the States, they don't understand that. They see, the divide in politics, and it's bad here, but it's nothing like what you grew up on. What was it like to live under a military dictatorship?
You can't for me, for the day-to-day basis, right? You just know that everything imported is super expensive because Myanmar was sanctioned by a lot of the countries, like the United States and such, and because it was so closed door. Just think about this, even the neighboring countries. If you go to a Chinese restaurant and you ask somebody they would ask me, because I'm I look Oriental, I look Asian, so they would ask me where I'm from, and I would say Myanmar, and they wouldn't know where Myanmar is. Huh. Think about it. It'd be like you not knowing where Mexico or Canada is.
Yeah.
Because Myanmar borders China, and that's because the country is that way. It's pretty much shut off from all the other country, and when it opened up, there were a lot of good things, like internet, and people with cell phones and stuff like that, Pizza Hut. We had all these, good things going on, and then it's going back to where we started. So it's kind of sad.
Would you say it's similar to a South Korea in that it's controlled, and the news is controlled that gets out to the world, so it's kind of just very mysterious in that way. There was very little known about, and that's why you say people didn't even really know what it was right when you were young.
You mean North Korea, right?
I'm sorry, yes, North Korea. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Very similar to that. Um, I don't know all the details about Cuba, what's happening in Cuba right now, but it's very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. And you can go on but the reality is this, that it's the same game, it's the same players, so it was gonna happen. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
And
mentioned,
it's like as a mixed martial artist, like there's not much I can do. Unlike what a lot of since I was the first world champion in Myanmar, everybody expects that I'm like the hero, and I can I'm not Superman. I can't just take away their troubles, and they get mad at me. They get mad at me, and they take out a lot of the frustration on me.
wow.
And if you look at my social media, during that time, man, I got some hateful messages.
Wow. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I was going to go next because of how publicly known you are and famous in the country. There are those people that think if you can change something, like you have that kind of influence over government. How bad was like the pressure? Was there a time where, and you're training for fights and stuff like that going into it, does it bring like a depression on some level because you have these people that you want to help but you just don't have that kind of power to help them, and then you're getting hate, stuff like that? Does it affect you going into a fight camp and stuff?
Yeah, especially the messages, when it's so hurtful and so personal.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Um, like I know how they feel. Like just imagine this: like whoever you voted for, and they win, and they get arrested and they get in prison. And like imagine in the States this happened, it would be crazy. It would be crazy. You would feel so powerless, so helpless, and you'd be so angry. They voted for a party, they won, and then like they think everything is good, and then they lose it all. And I get it, and I get where their frustration comes from, and it's like everything that they dream for is gone. So I like I sympathize with them, but at the same time, those hurtful messages were really hurtful towards me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of, for people that maybe don't follow like geopolitics, stuff like that, there's a lot of countries around the world that don't like the U.S. getting involved in their issues because for so many years, for centuries, the U.S. got involved with people's issues when they weren't asked to. You have lived here for a long time, is there part of you that feels or wants the U.S. to get involved even like on a diplomatic level to help the situation? Or are you more of the belief like, look, Myanmar needs to handle its own issues. I don't want U.S. involvement in my home country.
Well, it's a little different, in Myanmar. We don't have like a Second Amendment. It's like you can't fight against somebody that has the guns, and all the military weapons, and they're not like the public voted for a party, and they just put them in prison. So it's not like well, it's not like America's not doing anything. The United States is, doing as much as they can. Like, but there are bigger, there are bigger things. The bigger, the superpowers are, they're not gonna let United States just come in, so they're not gonna just let UN come in and take control. It's like there's a lot more involved in it, and that's why, like personally for me, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's not like I can just wish it away or do anything to make it stop. And the sad part is the people that think I can. And I had big plans, man. Like I had big plans for moving back and working there and doing something good.
Yeah.
But I feel like my future is like I gotta change it now.
Wow. Do you feel like it's to the point where I don't know, like do you feel like you're almost unwelcome at home, or you just feel a discomfort with the hate that you've gotten that you don't feel comfortable going back home now?
I mean, I don't really care for the hate.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could personally I don't think I can go home right now.
Yeah.
The situation right now, how unstable it is right now.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk fighting, your career. I'm not going to go into full details, but we all know the major story, losing the two titles to Rennie or DeRidder and stuff like that. So how has that changed your view on your career? You were two division champion for a long, long time. Has the mentality kind of like changed now, having to once again go old school? You got to chase the titles. Is there kind of maybe a relief, like the weight of being a champion and having two belts? You don't have those responsibilities, those demand. Is it kind of nice? Do you miss the weight? Like, how has things changed mentally since the last two fights?
Well, I always, try to be the best version of myself. Competition is against myself. So not really, like I've won the world title. I did it when I had less resources, less training partners, less, lower level, like not as high level, guys around me, and I still did it, so I can do it again. I believe 100% that I can do it again, and that I will do it again. And now just have fun, just enjoy. I get to do what I love. Like I get to work what I love. Like not many people can say that.
Yeah.
Not many people can say I get to do every day what I love. Regardless of how sore, how tired, and how fatigued I get in training, like I get to wake up and I get to do what I love. And for me, that's a blessing, and I get to be in United States of America. Like that for me is already a big blessing. And my kids are healthy. I'm healthy. My wife's healthy. So and it's for me, it's to be a better version of myself and to give the MMA fans, my fans, a great showing, and keep progressing and keep getting better. I want to be the best version of myself, and if the best version of myself shows up in a fight, I can take on anybody.
Now this fight is going to be at middleweight, and that intrigues me in that now that you don't have to you don't have to worry about, oh, I got to go back down and up and down, defend titles and stuff like that. For a lot of fighters, when they have a lot of fights in their resume,
Yeah.
when they're on the other side of 30, they don't want to cut weight as much. But so what's the long term plan? Do you still kind of want to stay active by being a two division kind of guy? Is middleweight kind of going to be mainly the focus? It's going to be just all middleweight, work to get the middleweight title, and then worry about everything after.
Middleweight is going to be my home.
Okay.
Middleweight is going to be my home. I don't have to, I don't have to, I don't have to be so to make sure I get too much, nutrient to keep my weight up.
Okay.
When in training camp, my weight naturally is around that middleweight mark.
All right.
When I'm the best in shape, when I'm in the best version of myself, it's at middleweight. So we're gonna stay at middleweight, and fight all the contenders that wanted to fight me, and then eventually get my rematch. So that's a long-term goal, like but during this time, I got to learn how to enjoy this journey. I'm not going to fight forever, but as long as I fight, I'm going to keep getting better, and I'm going to put on some violent shows for the fans.
Now talk to me about Leandro. He likes to strike, throw some big strikes and stuff like that, the big
Yeah.
bombs. A big difference from having to fight a grappler heavy guy like Renier. How does he rank up against some of the other real skilled strikers you faced as a part of the one championship roster? Guys like Brandon Vera, Vitaly Big Dash, Alan Alani. Like, is he up there just as good? Is he maybe not as good? Like, where does he rank in some of these good strikers you faced?
Striking wise, I don't think he's high up there, but the power always negates everything else. That power negates all the technical aspect of it. So I do have to watch out for certain things and how explosive he is. But I plan on but if you watch my last few fights, I think I know what his game plan is going to be. He's going to try to take me down. If he comes to keep it on the feet, it's going to be a war. If not, I'm going to keep the pressure on him, and I plan to break him.
Is this the kind of thing, because you're such a vital part of the roster, one of the big stars on the roster? I mean, we see it everywhere. Even the UFC, names like that don't need a lot of wins. They don't have to go to the back of the line and get 3, 4, 5 wins or whatever to get a title shot. Do you feel if you get a good performance, especially a finish, I mean, is it not? Doesn't it not make sense that you're in a title fight next? Or do you feel the fact that you lost to Rainier twice, it causes the situation where you're going to have to win 2 or 3?
Well, it doesn't matter. I want a different fight anyways.
All right.
You know, but if they give me a title shot and if I can do a good camp, I don't think I would have issue either. So I'm down for whatever, one championship once, and I want to make sure that you know, I put on a good show that this October 30th, and we'll go from there. You know, like I wasn't supposed to fight Rene in my last fight. You know,
Right,
it was supposed
exactly.
to be the title. So
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Let Rene defend his title. You know, I've defended my belt 5 times, so he should defend his belt. He might not be able to even defend it once, you know, or twice. Somebody might give him a problem, you know. But stylistically, he's a bad matchup for me.
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is. We'll keep going and we'll keep getting better.
A longtime teammate of yours in Vitor Belfort is getting into boxing in a couple of months to face Oscar De La Hoya. First, were you disappointed? His contract with one, he never got a fight in with one. That was an odd situation. Like 2 years there, never fought with them. And second, do you think like he has a good chance of beating the hell out of Oscar? Because Oscar's a little older. Oscar, I don't think was training as actively in his 40s like Vitor has. Like Vitor has a really good chance to win this fight.
Yeah, I sparred with him before I signed this contract. When he was supposed to fight, you know, I was his main training partner for that boxing fight. He's got power. He's got power, and he can take a shot. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't go easy on him because he's 40 years old. You know, we actually tried to, you know, he tried to knock me out, like,
wow.
And I did too. But he's got a chin, and if you're a betting man, I would put all your money on Vitor.